You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown. Welcome back to the Carl the Crusher channel. I'm here at Mount Wilson Ranch. I've been here a few times before. I've brought James Keenan back. I'm also coming back again in a couple of weeks with Chris Bartell from Skinwalker Ranch to do a lot of research. And what's interesting is last time I was here, when I brought James Keenan, he was able to source out some interesting photographs. So Jeff and I and Adam and James Keenan now have narrowed in on where previous research teams from NIDS to Bass with Bob Bigelow, Hal Putoff, Jacques Vallée, and a whole bunch of researchers from Stanford Institute were here looking for something very specific, and now we know what it is, and it has to do with rumors of a portal, or portal being code word for something right here on Mount Wilson Ranch. So we've got a lot of looking to do in order to zero in on what exactly this is and see what we can find. Let's go. Jeff, you were just admitting to me that down in the meadow in front of the settler's cabin or around there that you found like an animal mutilation. So how long ago was this?
Probably about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And now that we talk of all of these interesting things, this thing becomes way more interesting.
Right.
Basically, we have a dog Penny and we have a dog King. Both of those dogs are passed away now. But Penny was missing. On day 2 of her missing. I went down to the meadow, and behind the pump house was the equivalent of a pile of guts. Entrails, like liver-looking stuff, just gross guts laying all over the meadow. And the trail, it was snow on the ground. The trail went from behind there all the way up the hill behind the main building here, past the main building, across the road, and it all started, and I saw it when we were leaving here, and I saw the blood across the road.
Wow.
And that's what brought me back to go all the way back to follow basically where it came from and what this was, which again, my dog's missing. Is this something to do with the dog? It's like 10 degrees out. But this was a long, nasty trail of unexplained.
So you're thinking something got your dog up here on the road and maybe carried it then gutted it down there, and then
it started from here
and then dragged up there and then disappeared.
Yeah, and it was like no footprints, nothing distinguishable.
And this is in the snow, you said.
Deep, cold, Arctic,
so there's
cold snow.
There's a gut pile, like inverted animal, like all gutted out, and then but there's no tracks.
Nothing.
And then there's a trail of blood, like it was poured on the ground in the snow, but there's no tracks.
To the point where, I come back from the meadow, I go up, my knickknacks in the truck sitting there. I keep going and follow the blood path up past the Colonel's house. To the point where
will you just walk me through it? Can we go down and you show me where it happened?
Yeah. Yep.
And then we'll just go through the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Great though that I haven't melted.
This is so awesome. This whole fireplace up here. Everything is decorated for Halloween, and there is going to be a Halloween party in here. So it's got pumpkins and bats and ghouls and witches and all kinds of cool stuff. And it is cold outside. We have an awesome adventure and expedition planned for this whole trip though. Holy smokes. For Halloween, I cannot wait. It's going to be crazy. Dude, I didn't even notice. Jeff just pointed out how they installed into the mortar of the fireplace. This is like a perfume bottle, and there's like cool little crystals from around the ranch. Look at this bottle top right here. This is like, what, a mining core?
Yep.
Wow. All into the fireplace of the whole building. No wonder it feels totally haunted all the time, right? Yeah.
Good place to hang out.
It is.
God, Adam has made it back to the scene.
Yeah, we've got Adam. He's the star of the show. What's up, dude? So
Welcome back, Adam.
Yeah, thanks,
Jeff
guys.
is-
You know, I just had to take a little break from everything right now.
right,
Just getting to be too much.
right. Jeff is gonna take us down and recount how they found the blood in the snow with the animal mutilation down in the meadow. So you guys were driving out. Tell us.
So
take us
basically,
through it.
like we said, Penny, the dog, was missing.
Yeah.
It was probably, that was a stint when we had like negatives going. And there was at least 6 to 10 inches of snow on the ground. So we were just heading out, driving out in the van, out the front gates. 20, 30 feet down the road, across the snow, was a line of blood. All
Just
splattered
right out here in front of the gate.
Yeah, right out in front of the gate. Going that direction or going that direction.
Coming right through the trees here.
Right across this second road here.
So you couldn't tell if the blood was going from downhill and coming up, crossing that way, or going the other way, but the blood went clear across the road through the gate here.
Basically like on this angle. And so of course, when I stopped, I got out. And rather than going off the property, I went on the property and I went this way and followed the blood.
Gotcha.
Myself and Nick both basically went because the dog was missing at that point for like 2 days.
Okay, so we're walking along the path of where you followed the blood down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, you know, the snow was pretty deep. And it was just blood. And it looked like there was no footprints in it.
And this is all heading down into the settler's cabin in the
I don't
meadow.
know if it was heading down or heading up, but once I found what was down in the meadow, then I realized it was heading up.
Oh, wow.
So it started from there. Hey, did you see on his video? the
It is
picture
so
with,
beautiful. So this is the bunkhouse. These are transplanted army barracks. This is where the stagecoach used to pull up and pick up the old miners that used to stay in the settlers' cabin. The original settlers that settled this whole area. But they weren't the first ones here because we find indigenous artifacts all over the place. Pottery, throwing points or projectiles, all sorts of different things. And we're learning more and more about it all the time. But right now, we're following the path of the animal mutilation that took place that they found down into the meadow.
Into the meadow here, could it be tip to tip and it points out that way, or it points back under that way? Or is the tip up, or is the tip down? There's
To be determined.
Yeah.
So, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say our field geologist will take to figure that
It's
one
just, I mean, there's just a lot of different things that it could be. It's not as simple as like, oh yeah, there's something in the ground there. It might be in the ground, but hell, it might be 500 feet, and then the exact shape of it, we don't even know. So
Anyway,
all you could do is dig or radar.
We'll tell everybody watching this what Adam is referring to at a future point, but until now, we can't really tell you what he's talking about. Yeah, shut up, Adam. Shut your pie hole.
I'd say almost like you gutted an animal, dropped its
Right here?
entrails, everything right there. And then the pile basically went and dragged that way.
All the way
Just
up the hill around the saloon in front to the road.
yeah, like out that way.
So it either got whatever it was. So you thought it was your dog that got caught up there
Of
and then
course.
dragged down here.
And again, we're looking at it and we're like, what could this be? You know, and then we thought of a horse giving birth.
Right.
Maybe the horse was partially out, the baby, something grabbed hold of it, and it walked because there was no definitive footprints. It was just a pile of something that started here and just that way.
Wow. And you couldn't tell then in the snow, you weren't convinced whether it was your dog or not, or how could you not tell what animal it was even?
No, it was just guts, just pure blood and guts.
Really?
Yeah.
And so then
Anything.
how was it? Did it end up being your dog or what happened?
No, the dog wound up coming back. The dog was caught up in a leg hold trap somewhere on up in this region, and somebody obviously let it out 3 days later.
Really?
Yeah. So she came back, so that was good. So then the question was, what was it? And we came down to, oh, it was just a horse giving birth and something must have grabbed it and no big deal.
Right.
But once again now,
This is the same kind of thing that you hear about the animal mutilations at Skinwalker Ranch and other locations that have been researched all over the place, up in the Uinta Basin and elsewhere. And they say cattle mutilations, but honestly, the reports are mutilations of all kinds of animals and
this was undetermined, whatever.
even
this
people,
was.
but you don't even know what it was. It's just
No, and it was definitely dragged a long ways to the point where I followed it past the vehicle the other direction for a ways until I stopped, had a moment of reasoning, and like, I don't have any type of, let's say, protection, and I'm out in the woods and there's blood drag, who knows what it could be, a cat,
yeah.
Or something.
Now, would you say that there's anything about this meadow that is significant to you based on when you bought the property from Robert Bigelow?
The only thing specific was there was a D9, D10 Caterpillar that's now supposedly at Skinwalker Ranch, buried over there in the meadow.
Same tractor that they had stuck at Skinwalker Ranch was right here in the meadow.
It was actually stuck here for apparently 3 years in the meadow down to its seat.
Like they were digging here in the meadow for something in this area.
Evidently.
Or maybe right here by the settler's cabin and all that. And I find it really interesting. Here we have this geology again, where obviously this meadow is like formed by some kind of a runoff. So if we were to follow this meadow up, does it lead to like a stream or aquifer or spring or anything like that?
Natural springs.
Natural springs.
Several of them. A lot of seasonal runoff.
Right.
But there are several seeps / springs.
Which this is also a very similar thing that we keep finding with James Keenan with the hot rocks, the stream of water, the geology like coming out into like a flat meadow. It's the same kind of geological formation that we get up in the Uinta Basin at Skinwalker Ranch that we've been following all over. So what is it about this type of location that seems to be so intriguing to these former teams that go from here to Skinwalker Ranch and elsewhere? Let's see if we can find out.
About the Caterpillar or the tractor. Well, I don't even know if it was a Caterpillar or what that was.
It was a dozer. It was like a D8.
D8.
The big yellow one?
Yeah.
What do you remember
anything
of
about
that?
it? As a kid or when you
Yeah,
were
I
younger?
just remember riding down here on my four-wheeler, riding around. You go up and down through the apple orchard as a kid and all that shit, and seeing it stuck here. And then,
It was stuck here.
Right.
So he did see it.
it was like, that's what I was walking around just now. I was trying to put together and remember back to exactly where it was stuck at.
Well, what are all these trenches? Is this you?
This is from me. This is irrigation for
Okay,
the apple orchard.
Gotcha.
But I know it was stuck right here.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, it was right in
we
front.
got to be close to on top of where it was stuck.
From what I remember. But it's been, I mean, when did they get it out? Maybe 98 or so? Because they stuck it around 97. Maybe, I don't know. I know it was stuck for at least a year.
Yeah, I was told it was stuck for upwards of 2-3 years.
It
There's
was a
still a
long
little
time.
bit of, residue from it that I still clean up every once in a while.
Down there where it was leaking oil and stuff.
When it was stuck here, it was buried to the seat
They had it buried
in the
mud
meadow.
here.
It was buried in mud
Yeah.
and gush.
Yeah.
This is like a natural, this is like a rice paddy in certain years. That thing was stuck.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
I don't know if the dam had broke or sprung a leak or what had happened, but I know this was super flooded and the mud was incredible.
Really?
And yeah,
Because this goes up to a pond or what?
Yeah.
To the spring up there.
You can see the dam right there.
Well, maybe can we walk up there and see?
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Yep.
go check it out.
Yeah, when this was full in its day, it was actually in National Geographic in like 1972 or 1, apparently.
Please, somebody in the comments, figure this out and hit me up on Instagram or Twitter or whatever if you find this issue
Yeah,
of
if
the
you have
National
one of those
Geographic.
National Geographics in 1970.
Go check Grandpa's
2.
boxes if they've got National Geographic 1970 earlies.
And it was bass fishing in Nevada.
Bass fishing in Nevada.
Yeah.
Did you remember what was on the cover of that issue?
I have no clue.
No clue.
No clue.
But it talked about this
Now,
lake
Donna
up here.
Pardine had a copy of it, but again, she passed away and I wasn't able to get that copy of it.
Okay.
But this was Craw Creek.
This is Craw Creek.
This was Craw Creek when water was above the surface.
Have you hiked all along the rocks on this ridge
Oh,
to
yeah.
look for artifacts?
They're, again, everywhere around here.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that's about as simple as it is.
Oh yeah, all of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, this is, once you're getting up here, then you're getting up to the chip zone.
Right, right. Which the archaeologist said we should change our wording and call it a flake zone.
Oh, all right.
Chip is an inappropriate term, he said.
No, I'm
Now,
illiterate.
see, we have professional help now.
No, I'm
Right?
straight up.
We're moving
It is
up.
now a flake zone.
It's a flake zone.
We have some killer white water coming down this thing. But again,
When it rains really hard.
no, after a good snow.
You gotta have a good.
Oh, in the snow.
Yeah.
It comes down here and feeds into Craw Creek.
Yeah, this is basically our spillway around the dam.
Gotcha.
This is where the apple orchard's connected with the irrigation
Oh.
that I put in there.
Okay.
And like Adam said, at one point in time, the whole dam blew out.
Flooded and then they got the tractor stuck.
No,
Or no?
no, that was nothing to do with that.
Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Whoa. All right. Interesting.
So, in its day, you can see the water line. This was a full lake.
Dude, wasn't the Bobcat
Nope. Next lake.
the next one up?
Hey, look at the paddle boat. I noticed that the other day when I went by.
Paddle boat down in there
Look
still.
at the tree fell on it.
Yeah.
The water's just.
So you have to come out here and maintain this all the time to keep it flowing when it's run off.
Yeah, to
huh?
make sure that I don't lose the dam.
So see, you have a lot of water flow coming from clear up on Mount Wilson, working its way through the tributaries all the way down to here, and then this dam, and then it runs down right into the meadow. So this is something that James Keenan, myself, Chris Bartell, working in collaboration with Skinwalker Ranch, have been finding the same things in other places. So that's significant.
Creating an energy something.
It's like a geological battery. Yeah, from the mountain running all the way down through the meadow. The question is what does that have to do with portals or time warps or all kinds of interdimensional properties and things that the NIDS team was studying? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Until further note.
Well, we're right on top of it though, right? Literally. Supposedly. Here we are.
From everything we've been told yet and researched ourselves, or at least close.
So we should get our test gear and we should metal detect and do all kinds of searching around this whole thing, because if we had an animal mutilation down there and all kinds of ancient artifacts and evidence that official research teams funded by the government were right up here working and getting their equipment stuck, there's probably a lot more to the meadow.
What is that specific constellation that we're supposed to research?
Which one was it?
I can tell you.
I'm not sure. Ah.
Give me 1 second.
The Pleiades?
No, it wasn't the Pallades.
Wasn't the Pallades?
Boots.
Bootes. I don't know how to say it.
So we do have to find out when.
But that's the
that
constellation that's
is
supposed to be
around.
linked to everything.
To everything going on here. Would that have to do with that mysterious globe that you have in the saloon?
I don't know.
Okay. We're laughing. This place is crazy.
Astrology.
He brings up astrology, and I immediately mention the globe because he has an interesting globe that we're going to show you tomorrow over coffee, and we're going to get all into it. If you
Morning
guys,
coffee.
yeah, it has some interesting stuff on there that I was a non-believer of until I saw this, and now I'm super weirded out. But you guys got to check this out.
Just up to the upper pond.
There's another pond further up. Okay, so we're gonna walk the path of the Skinwalker here, the shaman path or whatever. We're gonna have to come up with a name for this because we got an animal mutilation down at the bottom of the meadow, and
Mutilation meadow.
that sounds creepy.
Oh, that sounds too
That's too morbid.
Oh,
What would you expect?
exciting happiness.
Yeah, we need to manifest good things here, dude.
Dude, you should fix that up and make it an Airbnb.
That would be like a rite of passage, man, to sleep in that thing overnight, right above the meadow.
Do you know how great that was though when there was water and you could actually
Everything floating around.
it
Yeah,
was really neat.
so cool. Yeah, there's like a whole treehouse up there.
Global warming stuff.
Yeah, this is all dried up. So imagine this was all flowing and running water and probably going underground and everything and creating all kinds of effects.
So I have since done this myself, a little bit of digging here because I was just
All of this
researching.
trenching.
Yeah, I was researching just the different levels in here to see what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, heavy years, low years of sediment. Some sort of metal object. I do have to dig it out of there.
What is it? There's like a metal container in the ground right here. Yeah, look at that.
Oh.
What's up?
See the deer?
Oh, right there.
Hey, turn around.
That's cool.
I mean, my son happened to be born the same day that I purchased the ranch,
Really?
and I got one of the best pictures ever of him when he's like not even one, standing right here.
Standing right here.
And
Wow.
Maybe we're
You have to imagine right where you're putting your hands that primitive people, desert archaic people probably walked right through where you're standing,
so.
you know, and all of the flake zone and everything is just right up
Thank
the
you
hill
very much.
there.
I was gonna say, so the flake zone is right above us.
Yeah. So
here.
all through here where you walk is,
Yeah, and this
it has that
I
feeling.
mean, take a walk through that one. That's actually a really nice.
Wow, feels like something out of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, man. Wow. So this is where the kind of the path up to the left of us is where Donna would have walked down and found a lot of the artifacts she found. So that makes sense. There could be a lot more up and around all of these rocks. There could be caves, pockets, all kinds of stuff, but most of all, we're interested in what the energy is of this place. This was where the spring was coming up.
Yeah. At the base of like this encroachment here.
So this would
seep all year long. Just run.
this could be energetically part of the portal area if they were nicknaming it the portal, or if it had some kind of energy properties where the spring is coming out, is important, very important. Coming right down off of this rock, you can see it
Squeezing out from underneath of it.
coming out right here, headed down to the meadow where the animal mutilation is and all the paranormal encounters occur. Is it really possible that where this spring is coming out right here, running down from Mount Wilson into the meadow where all the supernatural and paranormal activity occurs, where UFO sightings and alien interaction happens, could this be a clue to what Jacques Vallée, Bob Bigelow, the whole Bass and NIDS team early on were up here looking for and digging at and trying to find something underground here? Is this a clue to what they were talking to or referring to as the portal? Is there something to these places and locations where the water runs through or goes underground through the geology that thousands of years has created some kind of anomaly that opens up the supernatural and other things to occur? Or maybe it affects human consciousness. One thing is for sure, there's a lot more to do in this meadow, up where the spring is, where the that little pond is and the lake is, where there could be anything underground up in these hills around. Who knows? A lot of searching still to do, a lot of equipment testing to do. Jeff just said that geologists came up here, they looked all over at the other mines and other things, and when they saw this, they said, this doesn't make any sense. This is significant. It was completely full and now it's just blinking one green light. I had all 4 lights going when I took off. So what the heck? Now yours is erroring out?
Yeah,